because I finally got this thing working. All right. Finally moved into my work shop shed. It's not air conditioning, so during the summer months, it's not usable. I just sit here and sweat, which is not good for anybody to see. This little project is something I'm working on for a 3D print. I was thinking or wanting to come up with a little interchangeable set of doohickeys. I am sort of thinking about setting up a stand at the flea market to do some selling. We'll see how that goes, though. If I actually have the follow through to commit to it. Right. So I'm setting this guy up. You can see the progression that I had, the progression. I'll hang on to that simple mesh just because I might have other ideas for different variations on that theme. It's a good starting point, obviously. And a little bit further down the line, a little bit further down the line, a little bit further down the line. And even at this point, I'm not sure if this is going to be the final result. I'm just messing around. I kind of get antsy and want to see something come out on the 3D printer. But I'm thinking of like a little attachment point for a backpack and whatnot. And yet, we'll see. You know, I see different things selling sort of at the flea market. And you got, actually, I only saw, there's only one guy at the moment who's got a table selling 3D stuff, and it's all sort of Patreon items. Figured if I came up with some home crafted or homemade stuff, it would be a little different. I know there's a bit of a backlash or some anger around a lot of that 3D printed stuff. People are making a lot of flexi dragons and whatnot. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't buy it, you know. If I did, I would just print my own. All right, let's see if I can get this working. I'm trying to put a frame or a skeleton on this, an armature, so I could just pose it and come up with different layouts for this guy. Maybe come up with a cockpit, some spaceships and whatnot, and sort of modular, interchangeable things for him. I could slice this up even further and have it posable, but I don't know. This is sort of the initial stage of a lot of this, and I just want to focus on symmetrizing this skeleton. All right, there. Not for me. Every time the work phone goes off, I jump. So, do this. Collect my skeleton. Come on, man, I lost my menu. All right, we're starting to do pretty good right off the bat. That automatic weight is so amazing. I never get enough of that. I remember in 3D Studio Max, you'd have to sit there and play with these envelopes. You could do that with Blender, but no need to. It does all the dirty work, or most of it. Every so often you might have to clean up, and that's what I'm doing here is just testing this out. see if I can pose this cleanly and minimize any kind of goofy overlap or whatnot for the print. This is looking pretty good. For some reason that should be alright. Oh, he's bending there. That's alright. Let's see what we got here. Hello. Take a bow. The head. The head isn't too bad. I might tighten that up so it's more just the neck and not so much the shoulders and chest moving with it. Man, that's fantastic. Wow. That saves me so much work. Does gets a little foldy in there. That's alright too, I think. See how it goes. Alright, I'm gonna save this. Just come up with some goofy pose for a quick print. Maybe a nice sturdy stance. He's not IK'd or anything like that. I'm not gonna bother. And it's just a real simple model with a subdivision put on it to give it a little bit of a cartoonish look or a stylized look. Not realistic, as you can see. We have head. Bring this down a little bit. Kick. I'm probably going to go in here and clean up some of that weight paint or some of that weight. So that deformation is definitely not looking good. Should be able to fix that though. Alright, there it is. You can kind of see what's happening. It split this thigh piece in half and it goes right up the torso. So, I think I might be able to just paint that back to 0. Free some of that madness up. Maybe I want it more down to the crotch area. See if this is making a bigger mess than not. I don't know. It's all playing around. Thigh, right? need thigh left. Where are you, thigh left? There you are. Right. Look at that awful mess. What happens when we start getting rid of that? Why aren't you? Oh, I know why. It's because I have it mirrored and I have a mirror mesh on there. So what I do to one side is reflecting on the other, which is alright, I guess. That be a little better. See how that thigh influence even comes way up to the armpit? That's not good. Or strange. That's looking better. However, see a little gets a little goofy up there where that thigh is coming up to the belt. Part of that leg piece. How much of that influence do I want to diminish though? I don't know. Let's check the spine. Looks like this torso is going to need to be adjusted a bit. Definitely need a little more. I need to add some weight there. We just have a small portion that we want to minimize the influence of the arms and the legs. Still got a lot of kooky overlap there. So what happens if I just, there we go. Is that looking better? I think. Still kind of got a kooky ridge here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. And what I should have done, I think, is busted this thigh bone up into two pieces, which I might have to do to get a cleaner bend on that hip, where that hip meets the thigh bone. Your hip bone meets the thigh bone. This might be good enough to play around with for now. I just subdivide that calf bone. I'm not going to do it now. I'm just messing around with a quick and dirty little pose. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to send this to the printer, and then maybe later in the afternoon, I'll come back on and see what happened. Just did mittens too, because I'm lazy and I didn't want to do any damn fingers. I kind of had all that weird joint bunching up on the shoulder. That's why I broke up that shoulder into two bones to give it that blending influence that it needs to kind of give you a more natural fold. It doesn't give you those sharp creases or unexpected bends. As that chest is twisting, okay, it looks like the mesh is gonna work there. What? Just twisted his head off. All right, this is what we're gonna send to the printer. Let's save it. Oh, feet gonna sit flat if we have this guy sitting flat on the ground. I don't want to have to make a stand for it. Now this could be resin or filament. I think I'm gonna try filament. There. Space gear too, okay. See, this is more. This is more of the stuff I had in mind making my own kind of grandma tchotchkes, I guess I call them tchotchkes. So you'd have stuff like this, like coasters or window ornaments or garbage you could put on your fridge. Yeah, watching, playing with some PETG to try to get some translucent colors. I gotta keep messing with that. I'm not very good at getting those translucent colors. I got a crosshatch pattern in there. I should print it solid, but I want to try that with the PETG. PETG, PTG. All right, that's not the right one though. Where do I want to go? Too much garbage. All right, here we go. Is it? Oh yeah, this is my dorky little lamp I was working on. Just a quick what for. Not that I'm into like new agey crystals or anything like that, but it's more of a sci-fi y sort of thing. I don't know. Atlantis and the crystals, but maybe that's kind of need a little pop place for that light, dude. Slide right in there. Come on. There you go. It's magic. It's Atlantean magic crystals. This is PETG with the just a PLA base. Simple. And here are some Starflight figurines, minifigs. That's resin. A little base on there. Dorky sci-fi garbage. I love it. That's that Velex ship I did that video on, that large one. This thing, what a pain in the neck this was to make. That's all PLA. It just was not printing with the multicolor options, with the multicolor functionality. It was an uphill battle. All right, back to work. Let's see if we can oh, import our little astronaut dude. Oh, I know what I I do this every time. Export STL. Select it only. Else it exports the whole every piece of garbage you got on your scene. Right. Any crazy errors? Error manifold. See how tiny he is. What's going on there? Why are you so microscopic? I'm gonna let it try to repair the manifold errors and see what happens. I've seen it go completely bonkers after I've tried this, or it just screws up the faces in its repair process, creating this weird spider web and overlapping edges and whatever. Come on. And now it's going to be hosed. Well, I'm wondering if this is locked up or what. These are some of those flat disc shaped projects that I've been working on to try, like I said, with a small ink link or push, low stress movement in the direction of coming up with things to sort of sell. We'll see how it goes. And what else we got going on? There's those crystals in Blender. That base was kind of an afterthought. I really just wanted to try to learn how to do some printing with PETG, and that's what I was doing with all this nonsense. Let me shut off that cycles. Any better? There you go. See if bamboo is back on. I think it is hosed. We're gonna have to deal with some manifold edges, non-manifold edges, I should say. Cancel that. Scale it up and see what's happening. Give it a slice and see if it barks at me. All right, I'm having challenges all over the place here. I might have to revisit this model a little bit or decrease the faces on the. Oh, it's going. I think I might have to decrease the amount of detail on the subdivision surface and try again. But it's pushing through to 75%. Just gotta be patient. All right, it did it. Nice. I probably don't need all that support, but this is what we're gonna send to the printer. And if I get a little bit of time later, I'm gonna see what we got and show everybody out there. All right, I think that is it for me. If anybody was out there watching, we'll talk later.